Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So, before we start the session, here are some important things to know. So, all attendees are placed on mute. So, this event is being recorded. So, an email will be sent to you after the session to download the presentation materials and watch the recorded session. If you have questions, you may send it on the chat panel on your screen and we will accommodate it after the presentations. So, your feedback is important to us. Tell us how we did. So, do not forget to leave your feedback before the end of the session. So, the link and QR code will be provided later in the session. Okay? Yeah. So, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, partner, Miss Raline.
Ako
Hi.
trade mo name ani.
Afternoon, Jobs.
Hi, maayong adlaw. Miss
Maayong adlaw sa tanan.
Ayan. So we would like to thank you guys or everyone partners for accepting our invitation for NComputing VisMin Connect virtual partner enablement. So I'd like to introduce myself. I am Giovanni Soriano, the product specialist for NComputing, and I'll be your host for today's event. So with me today is Miss Raline, okay? So the sales manager from WSI Cebu as my co-host and together with us is WSI Cebu and Davao team. So calling also the ABP for our provincial branches, Miss Gigi Favillar. Hi Miss G, maayong adlaw. Are you there?
Hello, may hapon sa tanan.
Gigi.
Good
Hi,
afternoon,
maayong
everyone.
Hi, good
Welcome.
afternoon, Ma'am G. Ayan. So, I hope you are safe and fine. Okay? Miss Ren-
Yeah,
Yes. Thank
oh,
you so much, Jobs, for that introduction.
mm-mm.
Good afternoon once again, everyone. Hello. I
Oo.
hope wala nag-uwan din ha sa inyo ha kay diri sa amuan nag-uwan. All right. Once again, I am Raline Arpon, Sales Manager for WSI Cebu Branch. And salamat kayo sa tanan no for attending. So this early, I'm thanking you all for attending. So sayog yung kayo as early as 1:30 ni join na sila jobs. Very
O
early
Oo
birds.
nga, may nakikita kami nagpo-prompt kanina sa screen, ayan. So,
Ah,
I know that they are very excited and to know more about N computing solution.
yes, thank you so
Yeah.
much. So this afternoon,
Oo.
partners, we will share to you the latest and computing technology updates. So we will also have a quick refresher training to calibrate your and computing product knowledge. I
Mm-mm.
know many of you mangutana unsa man ang and computing. As being said by our AE or ni Eunice sa mga nag-invite ninyo, daghan daw nangutan na unsa ng end computing. So you made the right choice to be with us this afternoon because we will refresh you on what is end computing. And also, we will discuss the latest promotions so that you can share it with your clients. And
Mm-mm.
lastly, meet our end computing VisMin team and also our Manila team. That's it. So
Yes.
before we go to our presentation proper jobs, let
Mm-hmm.
me give you a background of WSI. So please watch our AVP.
Ayan, so there everyone, as we've seen earlier in the video, WSI carries more than 40 name brands, including of course the N Computing, and we have been in the business for 39 years now, as pioneer and one of the leading ID distributors in the Philippines. So if you have any inquiries, just message us and we will happy to assist you, okay? So lastly, before we start, we would like to introduce our e-commerce site. It's www.WeSellIt.ph, the first pure IT e-commerce site in the Philippines for small and mid-sized businesses. That's We Sell It. And We Sell It offers a wide range of hardware and software brands. So if you want to know more, you may reach us after this webinar or go to www.wesellit.ph. Okay? So to start, let me introduce to you our experts that will help us to know more about the end computing solution. So without further ado, let us call on Mr. Oliver Pabilia from End Computing Asia Pacific and to discuss more about end computing. Sir Oliver, maayong adlaw.
Maayong
Hello.
adlaw, tanan.
Ayan.
Good
Ayan.
afternoon. Thanks for
Okay.
joining, everybody. I see some familiar companies. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Your precious time is very much appreciated. Jobs, I'd like to check lang my voice. Is it clear? I'll also be sharing my screen. If just let me know if it's clear already. Jobs.
Yes, sir. Your voice is clear and I can see now your screen. Ayan.
Okay, thank you very much. And now let's get the program started. I see some familiar companies here, our partners, who are previous customers of NComputing, and I do hope for the new ones, feel free to ask questions later on, or if needed, we could always have a specialized enablement solely for your company. So, NComputing, we live by the business motto that it is a simple, affordable, powerful, and proven virtual desktop solution in the market right now. So this is a product update for Q4 2021. And for those whom I visited and enabled in the past, I'd like to say that I miss you all. Medyo matatagalan pa uli bago ako makabisita sa Visayas and Mindanao area. But rest assured that for this afternoon, I'll try my best to keep you updated. There are a lot of changes already and a lot of new products from NComputing. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with NComputing, I'd like to share with you a brief company background. We are a provider of virtual desktops. That is our main product focus. We are globally present in 140 countries. We are a US brand. We're based out of California, USA. That's our headquarters. Our manufacturing facility is in South Korea. We have a lot of users of our solution. We have about to date 20 million daily users who are using our products and solutions. We are still ranked number one in Asia Pacific and India for the category of virtual desktop provider. As a company, we are ranked number four globally together with the other competitors in the same category. So that's our brief company background. I'd like to share some personnel. I do hope they will be visiting later on. They will be dropping by. This is the NComputing Asia Pacific team. We are a lean, mean team covering the area. I'm the only one who's based here out of Philippines, and I'm managing already the territory. But our head of business is Mr. Manjunat R. He heads our business for Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. We have two gentlemen who is supporting us for the technical portion of our solutions. We have Senthil Kumar, based out of India, regional office. He's our technical manager. And our solutions architect, Jesse Pan, who is covering and providing support for our new solutions, particularly for virtual desktop infrastructure. So this is the team comprising NComputing Asia Pacific. Now in the Philippines, as you know, I've been visiting you for the longest time. We have been in business in the Philippines for almost a decade. Ever since I started NComputing a decade ago, I've been trying my best to visit you as often as possible. It was only prior to the pandemic that I stopped. But we have business presence for NComputing for over 10 years already here in the Philippines. So for the new ones, uh, uh, if you're going to carry our product, the brand name of NComputing has been tried and tested in the market for the longest time. We are 100% channels distribution business. We don't go direct. That's why we have appointed our official distributor for our hardware products, WSI. And there's no other distributor in the Philippines except WSI who is carrying our product lines that I will be showing to you this afternoon, particularly the vSpace product. We have the largest network of active resellers from Region 1, from Batanes at north, even as down south to Basilan. We have active resellers covering the whole archipelago. And to date, and by history, we have the largest single deployment of virtual desktop, courtesy of the previous project with the Education Department in the Philippines. That's a 350,000 units to date deployment, still not yet surpassed as of the moment. We have the widest geo-presence reach in terms of deployment, meaning we have a lot of deployments to end users, particularly in the provincial area, from Region 1 and up to the Mindanao area down south to Basilan and even Zamboanga. And in terms of adoption of the technology, we are widely accepted in government agencies. We have several city halls who are standardized in using NComputing. I'll give some examples later. And in various industries. In the next slides, you will see some samples of deployments per industry that we have been covering. And we are proud to say we are still the most cost-effective virtual desktop solution in the market as compared to the traditional desktop. So this is a brief history of NComputing in the Philippines. Now, the key vertical markets as follows. I mentioned already the largest deployment in education. But if you would ask me, it's not just in computer lab, but we have experience in deploying and computing in classrooms, digital signages, kiosks for information and even registration, online assessment, not just in schools but also in maritime certifications. We also have now products that will be considered bring your own device, and we have now perfected or even improved our compatibility with Welcome with our new products, particularly our tin clients. Now, in manufacturing, we're very strong. We have had experience in deploying in the manufacturing space. I think in Cebu there is a garment textile company that I visited and who have purchased and computing near Lapu-Lapu. But in Luzon area, we have a lot of deployments. I'll give some examples. Yamaha Philippines has been our customer for more than 5 years. We have today more or less close to 800 plus units already in Yamaha and still counting. Also, we have Furukawa Electric, Global IMI, etc. So manufacturing primarily and computing is used there for assembly line workstations, clean room, warehousing, mobile cart, kiosk, anything that will be beneficial to have a integrity of a clean room in manufacturing, and computing is the preferred technology because, as you know, for those who are familiar with end computing, it doesn't have any moving parts. So it's not susceptible to dust or even heat. Okay. Healthcare, we're very strong in healthcare. We have some deployments already for several hospitals. But one big win that we had recently is St. Luke's Medical Center. We have already deployed a Citrix solution of our models for that in St. Luke's, but we also have deployments in Philippine Children's Medical Center, ACE Medical Center, Davao Doctors, primarily for a 24 by 7 operation. And also, there's also needs deployments in terms of having some hot desk for physicians. In retail, and computing ay hindi po kaiba sa deployment sa retail. SM Supermarket has been our suki, or meaning always when there's a new site for SM Supermarket, there is. Our recent deployment that is very far from Metro Manila is in Zamboanga for a new branch. But hopefully, with the opening of businesses, we could still continue the deployments of end computing in the groceries for SM Supermarket. In the past in Cebu, I'm not sure if it's still existing, but we have some deployments in like 360 Pharmacy, Julie's Bake Shop, and the likes for retail. So I do hope with this afternoon, with the knowledge that we have imparted, could help us also cover more end users for retail in the Visayas area. Banking and finance, there are some companies already, not just in banking, but also in insurance, like Commonwealth Insurance in Ayala, uh, Center in Cebu is using end computing for several years already. Norquis Yamaha, by the way, I forgot to share with you Norquis Yamaha. Norquis in Mandawi is using end computing also. In banks, I'll give some examples. Asia United Bank, Bank of Makati is standardized in end computing, plus several other insurance firms. And now, recently, with the addition of our new products, we are now covering call centers and BPO because we have now solutions for voice. Before, there was a challenge for NComputing. We were not 100% compatible with any voice or telephony, but now with our new solutions, we are now able to cater to BPO and call centers, namely for those who are using soft phone with headsets and even webcams. So these are the organizations or even markets that we could really have potential in deploying and computing. But if you wish to have a copy of this list or even the case scenarios, there are some white papers that we could share with you. Just reach out to WSI or even to me. Later on, I will give you my contact information. Now, N computing has been evolving. We have started with one solution in the Philippines. We call it vSpace. I'll tell you what it is later on. But we could consider ourselves as an end-to-end solution, meaning we're not just offering one part of the solution, but we are offering both the software and the hardware. Okay. vSpace is our session virtualization or shared computing. It has been there for ever since we started the business, more than a decade ago. It's a popular platform. But in addition to vSpace, we have now introduced to the market our the virtual desktop infrastructure. It's a true VDI. Compared to the known brands in the market. Example is Citrix, VMware Horizon. So this is our own virtual desktop infrastructure, more cost effective. And very important is we both provide the software and the hardware, meaning the endpoints. Now, NComputing still supports the industry standard host servers or host PCs in the market. And we also have a strong alliance with Microsoft. That way, Windows security policies will always work with NComputing. As you see on the right side, I put there the Microsoft logo. Why? Because we have also provided the market with our solutions that is compatible with some protocols in Microsoft or products of Microsoft, namely Azure, Remote Desktop, and even the latest one, Windows Cloud Services. So later on, you will see which 10 clients are compatible with that one. And we also, as you can see, for those early comers in this webinar, we saw some video presentation wherein there are some 10 clients of End Computing that will work with Citrix. And we started off with Citrix, then now we are compatible with VMware and IGEL. So we now have solution that is not just catering from education. Now we can now cover the SMB, small to medium enterprises, and even the enterprise segments. And with the pandemic, we're proud to say we are among the few virtual desktops provider in the market that will offer you certain strategies and innovations for work from home. Later on, I will give you some examples of this one. I mentioned that End Computing has two platforms. On the left side, you will see that it's titled Server-Based Computing Platform. Well, in a nutshell, it will just give you or a customer an identical image of an operating system and application set. I'll just point my highlighter here, laser pointer. You see here vSpace residing on top of an operating system and the applications, and on top of the hardware layer of a host. We call it a host. We don't call it a server. We don't call it a PC. We call it a host. Now with vSpace, which has been there for a decade already, it will enable a single resource host and a single operating system environment and application to be shared to numerous profiles or users. So that's our server-based computing platform. Now, what if a user in the network would like to have a different application and operating system environment because of his need or her need? Can vSpace do that? No. For the longest time, a lot of customers of ours were looking for that, and we cannot really cater to that. Only recently, when we launched Verde, we're in. If you deploy Verde in the network and it's up and running, each user will have a unique and personal operating system environment. And application set. So we can say that it is a true virtual desktop infrastructure. So this is our two platform focus for end computing, and both are available already in the market. Now, if you need some materials or video for this one to better appreciate, just approach me. We have a video for the differences between vSpace and Word. It's actually in YouTube. You could just search for it. It will show you the difference graphically and explaining to you what is the difference between vSpace and Word. Okay. Now, to give you a more uh, graphical representation of vSpace, vSpace is available in three types and two platforms. One is for Microsoft, one is for Ubuntu. In Microsoft, there are two variants, vSpace Pro LTS, which is the entry-level solution, which is, if you are familiar with NComputing before, the one that is located in the CD, that is free, you have to install, and you're up and running in minutes. That is our vSpace Pro LTS, this one. But we have already introduced in the market the Enterprise Edition, which is still downloadable, but have certain requirements, but with additional benefits. Later on, I will tell to you what are the benefits. And we have also vSpace Ubuntu. Okay, that's the only Linux flavor what we're catering for vSpace. Now, as you see in the picture, it has one host. vSpace is residing on top of the operating system. And you could scale depending upon the specs of the host. You have to understand that a certain specs of a host can only cater to X number of users and depending upon the application. But you could scale up to 100 or more per host, provided that your host can now share more resources per user. But if you have any customer that you would encounter, like in enterprise, who are looking for more discrete uh, operating system and application per user, and would be having some deployments in branches, work from home, hybrid, also in cloud, please do approach me and we will be discussing further to your customer. I don't mind doing presentation. That is our bread and butter and also our objective for Philippines to evangelize about end computing. Now, just a summary of our what I said. We have vSpace, our popular platform for shared computing. We now have also, if your customer is using Microsoft Cloud, Azure Virtual Desktop, or Remote Desktop, we have dedicated thin clients for that one. We also have our Verde VDI for more enterprise-grade virtualization, which has discrete requirements per user. Later on, I will also be sharing with you our new product, which is the Leap operating system. Yes, and computing now has its own operating system, purpose built for virtualization. Later on, I will discuss that. So this is the whole portfolio of end computing in a solutions represented in the chart. But if you're interested in a more detailed, what they call this, list, this is the slide that I will be explaining. So I already explained to you the three types of vSpace, two for Microsoft, one is for open source, and we also have our virtual desktop infrastructure. Now, if you have chosen the platform, take note these are also products. Before kasi akala ng iba, the products of end computing is just the hardware. Take note this is also considered now as products of end computing. Now you're going to choose what type of client or terminal that I will be using. We have our zero client, uh, our very popular L300, yes. L300 is already now 10 years old. It's still available in the market. I think several of you have sold this in the past. We also have our DBI variant of L series, which is the L350. We also have the model for education. We only have one, but this is the only unique product that we have in the market right now. We're the only ones who are using this one, the MX100S. We also have, I will introduce and talk more, our RX series. This is our thin client. This is now becoming more popular than the L300 series. It is widely accepted and it's fast gaining traction compared to the number of deployments as the L300 before. But FYI, L300 is still our very popular uh, product to date. We have almost more than 1 million units sold in Asia Pacific already for the L300. Now, for those of you who are looking for Wi-Fi 5G, we have our model RX RDP Plus. And for those who are looking for a native dual display, we have our RX 420 RDP. Okay. Like to check. So far, Jobs, meron na ba tayong mga questions?
As of the moment, sir, I'm monitoring. Wala pa, sir.
Very good, very good. Okay, hold on. We also have our software-based clients for vSpace and Verde. When we say software-based clients, wala na pong hardware. Meaning you have a image of a software that would enable you to connect to either vSpace, Verde, or even our other complementary protocols for the other brands. Later on, I will dwell or explain more of the Leap operating system. This is a very exciting product. And we also have our complementary hardware clients for Microsoft Azure, remote desktop, anything related to the cloud of Microsoft, we have products for that. And we have RX RDP Plus or RX 420 RDP. As you will see on the left side, it's the same ones. The blue ones are catering to Microsoft. That's the good thing about NComputing. We are multi-protocol. We can use it for vSpace, Verde. We could also use it for the other protocol at no cost, meaning compatible na siya. Same goes with our Citrix models. We have single monitor variant. We also have our dual monitor ready variant, catering to both Citrix and VMware Horizon. And we are Ideal OS compatible. This is a new product, but this is still very much new. What we are focusing right now are the mainstream ones, particularly those products for vSpace and our complementary Microsoft products. Now, just a short announcement. Please take note, we have already discontinued and withdrawn support for our EOL products on the right side, L130, L230, and those that are in card type X350. I'm not sure if there are still customers of yours who are looking for the card type, yung mga X series, X350, X550. We have already discontinued this 3 years ago. And those who have sold M300 related to the DepEd, that's already discontinued. Kindly take note, the price list given to you by WSI will only reflect those that who are available at the moment. Now, I'd like to point out, not everything that is in the active models are compatible with our latest software. L300 in particular, L350, and even some M300s. If you still want to use them or our customers wants to use them for the latest vSpace software, as you can see, hindi lang po hardware ang diniscontinue natin, pati ang software. So those customers of yours who are using the previous version 4 of vSpace, 6, 8, those belonging to the CD installer, these are all already discontinued. You need to have them upgrade to the latest software. Take note, this is still no cost. However, the vSpace Pro LTS will only accept units that are 2015 and above, date of manufacture. But what if a customer still wants to use their own L300 kasi durable, even if it's out of warranty? They can still use it. They just have to buy a product of ours we call AMP. So later on, I will discuss that also. So hindi lang tayo hardware, meron na rin tayong software. Now, vSpace, I'll just browse through this presentation for vSpace. It's our shared computing platform. Compared to the desktop, this is an easy way to really provide virtual desktops to customers. Number
Sir,
one,
Sir
primarily, yes,
Oliver, excuse me.
yes.
I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Sir Manju.
Hi,
He's already
Manju.
here. Yeah.
Thank you, Jobs, for mentioning. Hi, Manju. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, hi. Hi, everyone.
Manju is heading our business for Asia Pacific, as I mentioned, and also Middle East and Africa. He hasn't visited the Philippines, but hopefully in the future, you will give him a warm welcome, especially for Visayas and Mindanao. Okay? Now, to continue, our vSpace solution has been popular in the Philippines. That's the reason why we've grown tremendously over the years. Well, primary number one, it provides customers with a lower cost for energy. Take note, our devices, our 10 clients, is only consuming 5 watts of electricity. It has lower acquisition cost. It also is very easy to maintain. It gives also the convenience for IT managers to focus on their core responsibilities rather than focusing on updates. And it's also a session virtualization, meaning it's very easy to deploy. You can deploy X number of units, for example, one department in the span of less than 15 minutes. At the same time, if you're a reseller who wants to be unique in terms of providing value to your customers, vSpace is something that you could really start off. And chances are uh, a greater percentage of our customers who are pushing vSpace have a lot of wins compared to traditional desktops, especially right now that the cost of components, if even the total price of a desktop is going high. So maybe this is one thing that could really give you more wins in terms of covering the market. And at the same time, we are not susceptible to constraint in material. We have always stock. You could ask WSI about it. We always have stocks of L series and even the RX. That's why whenever we go to customers and we are challenged of what we are offering to the table, we always provide them the explanation, but we always ask them at the end of my explanation of the previous slide, Sir, ma'am, why do you have to buy 10 or more computers wherein you could just position one to serve the purpose for others in the same purpose? So this question, if you want to really be master of end computing, at heart, if you know the value proposition, don't forget to always ask the customer this question. Because a lot of customers, especially in the market, I admit, are still traditional thinkers for and preference for desktop. But if you know the value proposition of end computing, I'm sure you could always win. Now, how it works, very easy for vSpace. You just have to pick your properly provisioned host for the number of users, install your operating system, and install your vSpace, create your profile accounts, and up and running na ang inyong solution for the lesser time, or meaning half the time you deploy traditional desktops. And moving forward, not just in deployment, it's very easy to maintain. Instead of doing the patches and updates for individually per PC, you only have to update one host. And you don't have to think about maintenance with the others, and computing 10 clients or terminals doesn't have any moving parts. You don't have to think about maintaining each and every unit. You just have to safeguard the host. You have to safeguard the host for security and also data leakages, which the IT can now safeguard. Okay, that's why NComputing, when I started managing the product, I too was a desktop thinker, meaning I promote products for a certain four-letter brand in the market. I also, that's color blue, by the way, and I also pushed a four-letter brand that is color green in the market. But when I known about NComputing in early 2010s, it really made sense, actually. It was very disruptive. It really changed my perspective in terms of desktop computing because it's very simple to understand. very powerful enough to really cover all of the industries that I presented earlier. Very affordable in price. Do check with WSI your pricing and margins, not just the price, but the margin that you're going to take home. And you will be guaranteed to continue businesses in the most challenging environment, even during the pandemic, and provide desktop computing to your customers at the most easiest way. Okay. vSpace, just to give you some features of it, it's very simple, very fast to deploy, very easy to manage. It has a cloud dashboard. Whenever you install the latest vSpace software, it will give you an account online through our NComputing.com, wherein you could see the profile of your installation of your host and even the list of serial numbers. We have already the latest support for Windows and even server operating system, and soon, or even right now for Enterprise Edition, we now have preliminary support for Windows 11. And we have bundled certain features that you don't have to pay. It's already standard. Now, these are the products that are covering for NComputing vSpace. We have the L series, the MX for education, our popular RX 309 hybrid, but we also can cater to the ones that are primarily protocoled for Microsoft, RX RTP Plus, RX 420. That is the beauty of our terminals. We can interoperate and also be compatible with vSpace depending upon the need. You just have to buy some connectivity license. That's why we also offer software or licenses. I mentioned the two versions of vSpace for Microsoft. On the left side is our no-cost entry-level vSpace variant. You can now connect 100 users, but you need to provision a properly sized host using a server OS. Uh, but for Windows 10 Professional, we can yield a maximum of 20 users on a properly positioned, probably for i7, for i9 with enough RAM of 32 gig. That is the maximum for a Windows 10 operating system environment. But for more than 20, let's say a 100 user environment, we could always give you advice on how to provision for a server operating system and equipment. We have a usage for the vSpace Pro LTS and free and perpetual. The meaning for perpetual is a 10-year license, meaning you could use the vSpace Pro software with our terminals for about 10 years. So that's a very long time. That's why our customers have been using our products from the time of purchase to more than and even beyond the warranty. But we are encouraging everybody to look into our vSpace Pro Enterprise. Some of our customers, even in Mindanao, have been starting to use this. Why? Because all of our development for new operating system, we put here at the Enterprise Edition. It's still free to download and register, but you will be required for per user to have an active annual maintenance, meaning your device should have an AMP support service subscription. As compared to this one, it doesn't look for the AMP. But we have support already for Windows 11, only in Enterprise Edition. We have support for VPN. So if you have a separate deployment of a host in different location with our RX series, you could use the Enterprise Edition. Also, if the LTS version is only up to 100, in Enterprise Edition, you can now go beyond 100 or more, depending on the properly sized host. So for large deployments, you could now consider vSpace Pro Enterprise. And it also has support for smart board, meaning for touchscreen monitors, multi-touch, smart boards for education, and even health monitoring of the host. These are only available in the Enterprise Edition. Okay? But if you want to test drive the Enterprise Edition, we have a trial, 5 trial concurrent session limit if there's no AMP. But may time limit lang siya. At the same time, with the active subscription of AMP, we have also benefits in the future if we're going to provide new patches and update. A customer is entitled for to avail of those updates and also new features only in the Enterprise Edition. Okay, so if you're looking for basic connectivity lang, not much of a hassle or even the bells and whistles, you can always offer LTS along with our terminals. But if they're looking for more features, Enterprise. Okay. Now the features for both, especially the dashboard and even the interface, are the same. It's just the features that are different. So if you're already familiar with the GUI of NComputing, aside from the multi-view dashboard, we have already added this vSpace console to manage both the host and the devices. And whatever you install here, all the serial numbers and even the specification of your host, you can now view it online. Okay. Now, benefits of the new vSpace as compared to the previous versions, the new UXP 2.0, which runs vSpace, is faster by 43%. So I have spoken to some customers in Cebu. They are still using the previous versions of vSpace because there's nothing wrong. It's still being used right now, but I did encourage them to upgrade already to the new vSpace because there are a lot of free premium features like VCAS, multi-view and broadcasting, dual monitor for the new models, smart card support. These are all included in the new ones. The previous ones, they do not have these features. So these are free. Might as well encourage your customers for those who are selling vSpace already to upgrade. Okay. VCAS is the technology which has been requested by customers before. Before there was some problems in terms of viewing videos, but this technology is only available in the new vSpace version, including LTS, and also with the new terminals namin, yung RX series. What it does is, it will not eat up CPU power pagka nagpe-play ng video or even nagsi-stream. As you can see with VCAS activated in Chrome, almost 0% na ang usage ng CPU. Kaya medyo fluid na ang viewing ng video, even high definition. But as I said, only available in the latest vSpace, including LTS, and only for the new models ng NComputing. Broadcasting is also available in the new vSpace and also for the RX series, particularly if one would like to broadcast a similar content to other NComputing users. This is good for video playback in terms of digital signage, uh, classroom instruction, anything that would entail broadcasting or sharing of content. Smartboard, if your customers is looking for any touchscreen capability for thin client, this is only available again with vSpace and also for terminals with an active AMP subscription. Okay, up to 10-point multi-touch. Again, this feature has been requested by some customer of ours, particularly in the healthcare and even manufacturing. Now, we also have a new management suite. We call it the PMC Device Management Software, available only and compatible with our new RX series devices, new models, including our Leap OS. And it's only available if you have an active AMP subscription. And you could always use this in tandem with our vSpace software. Okay. Pi Management Center is, you can always test drive this to get a familiar look and feel for the interface, but it's more comprehensive, especially if you have a lot of deployments. So this one is already in uh, form of a web access, meaning you could always see a more comprehensive report of your Ed Computing deployment anywhere, as long as you have access to your setup. Okay. Now, I'd like to also tell you if you have any previous experience in vSpace Ubuntu, previously you don't pay for it, but we'd like to announce that the new version of vSpace for Ubuntu for Linux is already a paid version. But it's still cost effective because you only pay per host. hindi siya per device. Okay? We're only what do you call this, compatible with version, I think, 18.04 of Ubuntu. Okay, so far. And it's available in two. There is a low-end basic 10 sessions, or meaning maximum of 10 users. And there's also a standard unlimited. So if you're looking for a very, very inexpensive non-Microsoft virtual desktop deployment, try to also ask for pricing ng basic edition ng Ubuntu from WSI. Now, AMP, I've been mentioning this. This is our annual maintenance plan or support subscription product. It's a software product. So if you have customers who are using L300 with date of manufacture, usually makikita mo sa at the bottom or under the device itself, there is a portion there for serial number and date of manufacture. If those L300 and L350 are from dates before 2000 up to 2014, you can no longer use it with the latest vSpace. So, but if your customer is still wanting to use those devices, all they have to do is buy AMP. AMP will give them the privilege of using the latest software even if their devices are old. Take note, L300 and L350 only. And they will give them privilege to use the Enterprise Edition also and receive software updates, but only for the vSpace. Again, annual maintenance plan is not warranty. It just gives a user privilege to use the old device as long as it is still powering up with the latest vSpace software. So this is still cost effective, but this is already in annual payment of a subscription or even 3 years or 5 years. Also, AMP is also in tandem with our new models because our new models, like the RX series, is also needing software support. Kaya pinapartner din namin ang AMP for the new models. Well, a lot of benefits. Primarily, you can now use our vSpace Pro Enterprise Edition. And our vSpace Pro Enterprise Edition is capable of VPN, and the requirement for VPN is an AMP. So, if you need further assistance and explanation for this one, don't hesitate to approach me and Giovanni of WSI. Now, deployment options for vSpace is still the same. You could deploy it on a physical host, just like on the left side, or you could now deploy it using VM machines. So if you have certain VM machines in the network for convenience, you can now install vSpace on that one and have a virtual environment using virtual machines. Now, just a review of our vSpace products. Our L300 and L350 MX100S, automatic 3-year warranty po siya as before. And you can also renew our software support annually via AMP. However, our RX series is default 1 year, but you have options to upgrade it to 5 years, including the software support. Take note of that. The L series and MX, 3-year warranty, and you could always buy the software support. The RX series, default 1 year, but you have a choice to upgrade it to 3 years up to 5 years. We're now offering also our software clients fully compatible with vSpace. And we also can bundle in our Pi Management Center suite, provided that you have vSpace Pro Enterprise and AMP. Again, for those of you unfamiliar with vSpace, especially the new versions, especially your technical, feel free to ask for WSI assistance on how to install. But later on, I will show you a link of a library of video tutorials that you could use. And these video tutorials will really equip you offline for your technical team to be fully equipped. Now, the L series, again, differences in terms of display. The L350 DVI lang siya. L300 VGA supports USB ports and differences of resolution. L300 has maximum 1920 by 1080 full HD. L350 is full HD multimedia high resolution up to 1920 by 1200. These are LAN-based only. There's no Wi-Fi option for this one, and single monitor lang siya. MX100S, our unique product. We're the only ones with this type of product. We're in every kit of an MX100S is catering to 3 users already. That's why this is good enough for computer laboratories. One power supply equivalent to 3 users already. That is more or less 2 watts per user, but more you could say that this is still less than 15 watts total per kit. So it's still cost effective. Again, this is only positioned for as much as possible for one room deployment, meaning in premise of in one room, at least 1.5 meters per user, and a maximum of only 6 kits per host. That's totaling about 18 to 19 users per host. That is assuming that it's going to be used for computer laboratory. Now we go to the portion of our presentation. We are going to talk about the RX series, our newest solution of thin clients. It's based on the Raspberry Pi, so it does have processors, RAM. The SD card inside is not for saving, but it's really just to run the system. Take note in virtual desktop, we don't really save on the terminal itself, including the previous models. For a single monitor configuration, we have 3 color coded into red or raspberry color, blue, and green. The RX300 is the red one. It has HDMI together with the others. It has a 100 Mbps LAN, 4 USB ports. It has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And it already has a mounting kit for the monitors with BESA compliant. It supports vSpace, pwede siya sa Microsoft Remote Desktop, including support for remote FX, Wordtext VDI, and it has support for VPN. This is our very versatile thin client to date, and it's becoming more popular than the L300. So previous users of L300 are now using the RX300. If your customer is looking for 5G Wi-Fi, dual band Wi-Fi, we have RX RDP Plus, but it's primarily, that's why it's color blue, for Windows 365 Cloud, Cloud PC, Azure Virtual Desktop, Remote Desktop, and Verde VDI. So if your customer is using any of this platform, you just have to think about RX RDP Plus. If your customer is using Citrix or VMware Horizon, you just have to think about RX HDX Plus, the color green one. Okay? Very easy to understand, very easy to remember. Now take note, default warranty hardware is 1 year, including software support. So the software support, you already have 1 year for all of the 3. But you have to upgrade 3 years to 5 years. And you have to buy it upon purchase of the unit. You should not delay the purchase because we will not accept that. So if your customer is looking for example, RX 300 3 year, you buy kaga 3 years or offer kaga 3 years or even 5 years. Okay? Don't forget that. Now for the dual monitor, we only have 2. For the blue one, RX RDP, that will already cover our compatibility with vSpace, Microsoft, and Word VDI. Dual band, but now it's dual HDMI. Higher processor and RAM, and it already has a fan inside. Okay? And with the use of vSpace Pro Enterprise, you now have an option to use the Pi Management Center for better management. Again, also for Citrix and VMware, just have to think about RX 420, but the green one for HDX models. Okay? Again, RX 420 series is 1 year warranty with 1 year support software, but you could always upgrade it outright from 3 years to 5 years. Okay? For pricing, always ask from double side. Now, the RX 300 in a nutshell, this is our popular product. It can give you a yield of a display of full HD 1920 by 1200 via HDMI already. Take note, HDMI cable is not included. It has to be sold by the monitor provider or purchased separately. It has support for vSpace, Verde. It has support for VPN. We have improved USB peripheral support. That's why, unlike before sa L300, if you're attempting to connect webcam, hindi siya gagana. Only in the RX series that you could use webcam and USB headsets. Very small or zero footprint through the bundled VESA bracket. The size of this one is almost half of an L300. The good thing about RX 300, even though it's single monitor, I'll move on to the next slide. By the way, this is the size, as you can see, very small, compact. It can now be capable of dual monitor as an option with the purchase of this dongle. We call it a secondary display adapter. You just have to plug it in one of the available USB in the RX 300. So your RX 300 will now have a secondary extended monitor. This is sold separately and you don't have to buy any license for that. Again, with the RX 300, with those capability and the capability of vSpace, I'm sure this will be a good value proposition compared to your competitors. Okay. This is what the SDA looks like. Uh, Again, no additional license to be purchased. It's plug and play. Take note in the RX 300, it doesn't already include the vSpace version. All of our vSpace is downloadable from NComputing.com. That's why don't be surprised. The package of this one, the box is very small. So what is included in the box is the unit, the mounting bracket and screws, and the adapter. So what does it mean? It means it will be easier for you to deliver and even transport. Take note, you have to buy the warranty upgrade if needed. Meron tayong available 3 years and 5 years. And if you want to have already the additional annual maintenance, 1 year, 3 years, or even 5 years, available din siya as an option. As different from the warranty, annual maintenance can also be purchased after the first year expiration. Okay? It's a good product both for vSpace and Verde. So I would suggest if you want to have a testing unit, kindly ask WSI if they're offering any demo purchase. Okay? I believe they can. Now, the Leaf operating system is our new product. Again, Giovanni, I'd like to ask if there's any question up to this point. That way, I know if there is any
No,
questions from the public. Wala pa?
no
Okay,
questions so far, Sir Oliver. Hi, team. Please feel free to unmute and speak up if you have questions. Or chat lang po kayo sa chat box. Huwag po kayo mahiya, okay? Thank you, Sir
don't,
Oliver.
don't be shy kasi si Giovanni later on, siya magtatanong. Pero may premyo later on. Okay?
Ah, Nako, sinabi na ni Sir Oliver. Okay, may excite sila. Thank you, sir.
Leaf operating system, yes, and computing already has an operating system. Okay, we call it Leaf OS. So it's part of our portfolio already. It comprises the strategy of N computing for bring your own device, and it can also repurpose old PCs and laptops. Okay. Now, it's a secure endpoint, meaning it's a software version of a client ng N computing. Any old laptop or desktop, x86, x64, Intel, or even AMD, as long as you have 2 gigabyte of RAM, or even a small space of a hard drive, or even walang laman, you can transform them to a thin client ng N-Computing. So it will give you Azure Virtual Desktop access, remote desktop services access. It will give you access to Verde, vSpace Pro. But what is good about Leap operating system is, since it's an operating system, it can run already natively disintegrated applications which we have bundled. With the Leaf OS, if that is the image of the operating system installed in the repurposed laptop or desktop, it can now run a standalone Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or even Office 365. That's very useful because without a host, you can use the device itself or any repurposed device. You could go online for Office 365, conduct meetings. By the way, Leap operating system is really designed for communication, for cameras, USB cameras, and headsets. Okay. Same time, it's very secure. It's locked down, meaning an operating system that no one can really install applications into or even tamper. Unlike the commercial grade operating systems for desktops and laptops, it's always open because you need to install. But if you want to have in a corporate environment, if you want to have a worker just to concentrate on the services that they need to use in the office, Leap operating system is a good product because it's really purpose built. It's designed for VDI, desktop as a service, cloud workspaces, includes compatibility with Azure, remote desktop, vSpace Pro Enterprise for the VDI and remote access. And it extends endpoint functionality because meron na tayong integrated Chromium browser, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom. Plus, we have started in Cebu already. We have a couple of BPOs who are requesting, why not put a soft phone in the Leap operating system? We're open to that, especially for those customers na nasa BPO who have needs for Avaya, Cisco AnyConnect, or any WebRTC na application. Always, we're open. Our engineering is open if we could put that as a build of Leap operating system. Pwede namin gawin siya. Okay? Now, this is the interface. If you're familiar with the L series or different models of thin client of ours, you won't be hard to understand. But in addition to compatibility with certain protocols, Leap operating system has a lot. RDP, AVD for Microsoft, vSpace, for the VDI, and even local applications. More comprehensive siya. So if you want to connect to Azure, you just have to pick the protocol on the left side or vSpace. Or if you want to run the local applications on its own, you can now do so by a click of a button. Okay. The benefits is it's easy access to virtualization, desktop virtualization, because we can now have an easy way to do desktop virtualization through vSpace or even Verde. It's very secure because it's already a compact Leap operating system image. And it's already designed for bring your own device. It extends the life of your PCs and laptops even beyond the warranty or even the life cycle. But very importantly, if your hardware is not compatible, because the new operating system of Microsoft has some limits, especially in TPM, especially in the version of the processor. Sometimes you're not able to install the latest OS. With vSpace, if you deploy a single host there with Windows 11 and deploy vSpace, your legacy hardware with the use of Leap OS can now connect to the new version of the operating system of Microsoft without even upgrading your hardware. Thereby, your old or legacy equipment can now enjoy Windows 11. Okay? Feel free to ask us on how to do it. We are more than willing to teach you on this one. But it's very, very easy. And it also has a centrally management suite, reduces the maintenance and to simplify things. And with Leap OS, as I said, we now have more capabilities in terms of USB peripherals. So now we are more open to use webcams, headsets, you name it. Okay. Now, if you want to use your old equipment but do not want to erase the content and you just want to have a separate image, you can always deploy Leaf operating system via USB boot, put it on an 8 GB thumb drive, and use it by running it on that thumb drive. So any endpoint, it becomes a Linux endpoint OS environment. You can always create a live boot. There is a tutorial already online for this one. By the way, if you want to test drive Leap OS, we have a 30-day trial. Okay. All open, the applications, the compatibility is there. Uh, Enjoy the benefits of an operating system purpose-built for VDI, especially for Azure Virtual Desktop, etc. And if you want to use it on a thumb drive, your laptop or desktop, the contents are remains intact because it's a separate environment. Now, if you're fearing that um, you will lose the thumb drive, you could always install the Leap operating system. In finality, if you want to use your device as a Leap operating system terminal, pwede mo install siya. It already has integrated VPN support. It's very easy to use and centrally managed by the Pi Management Center. Again, Leap operating system entitles you to use PMC with in tandem with the vSpace Pro Enterprise. Okay, in a nutshell, to summarize everything as a scenario, Leaf operating system repurposes your old PCs to make them new again and to go into the latest platform, particularly in terms of operating system. You just need 2 gigabyte of RAM, 8 gigabyte of thumb drive to boot it from USB, optimized for the protocols that I mentioned. Okay. A secure and integrated VPN simple installation. I mentioned this already. And we'd like to highlight for those resellers who have BPO customers or who are covering Microsoft Azure Virtual Desktop. Please kindly position Leap OS or even our NComputing RX RDP terminals. This is really designed for Microsoft NPD. By the way, our products is also listed in the Microsoft Marketplace. So feel free to go there, and if your customers is looking for proof that is compatible with Microsoft, we have content written by Microsoft that we are fully compatible. Okay. This is just to share with you that Leap OS supports the different variants, the two variants of the Azure, Spring and Fall. It supports multi-factor authentication to be more secure. Remote apps programs. You can have kiosk mode, support for H.264 encoding for better experience. Native and dual display dependent on the hardware itself, but we support that also. I suggest that you test drive it with your webcam, local printer, and any USB peripheral for use. I'm sure Leap operating system is the most cost-effective solution for you in the market, even more than half or cheaper than the traditional desktop as of the moment. And what's good about it is the mentioned local applications. In the future, we'll be adding more depending upon our development, but we hope to add more applications as the Leap operating system evolves. For now, we can only support an integrated Teams, Zoom, and Chromium browser. Again, Pi Management Center, if you want to test drive it, you could always download it. You could install it as an appliance in a VirtualBox or Hyper-V, depending on your preference. Feel free to use it and review it. But if you're not ready, there's always material in our website, or you could request from me information of the Pi Management Center. DeepOS is purpose-built for industries such as call center and BPO, as I mentioned. And just to share with you, it's a very clean GUI. Here you could see that it's logged into or prepared to log in for Azure Virtual Desktop. Okay, this is the interface. By the way, you could always change the desktop wallpaper. You could always lock the cut and paste for better security. This is a graphical representation of how it works in remote desktop. This is the GUI. For vSpace, it's the same. What you see on the screen will be a vSpace login screen. Whether you use it on LAN or VPN, as long as you have a VPN installed and a vSpace Pro Enterprise here, Leaf operating system is the only license that you could use or you purchase to connect remotely to a vSpace environment. Okay? And Leaf OS is also compatible with Verde, our virtual desktop infrastructure. We also have just to highlight two customers of ours in the Philippines, two education institutions. This is a good use case. Uh, in Cebu, I believe nationwide also, not just in Cebu, not just in Metro Manila, but nationwide, there are some schools or institutions wherein they have computer labs. I'm not saying that it's just an computing lab, but desktop laboratory, computer lab, wherein they're not being used kasi nga hindi makakapasok ang students. So what happens to their assets? It's not being utilized, sayang ang investment. That's the problem of our first customer for Verde Remote, Asia Pacific College, with the problem that they're now shifting to, with the pandemic, they're shifting to a study from home, but not everybody can be given the software installed in the because it's a redundant thing. You have already purchased, for example, software for licenses for Adobe Photoshop, Premiere, engineering software, all the applications in your curriculum. If you're going to deploy it remotely, or you can always give a copy to the student, that will entail another set of budget. What if we have just purchased recently prior to the pandemic your desktops and software? Your the school doesn't have enough budget for that anymore. So when Asia Pacific College asked me, I told them, yeah, we have a product for that. We're in the Verde Remote. It's installed in the network as an appliance. There's no hardware involved. We just have to install this as a monitoring software in the environment of your LAN. It will facilitate the remote connection, secure remote connection to any available desktop, in this case for the laboratory. Assuming, for example, I am a student, I'm using a low-tech laptop at home. I don't have copies of my applications in the school, but I can be installed a Leaf operating system. I can use the Verde Remote Access tab there and now connect to any available desktop in the school. So it's like I'm remotely using that desktop. Very secure. What the reason why I said it's very secure, because if you don't have access to Verde Remote and you don't have Leap operating system, you are not able to access the computer lab. Plus also the security of giving credentials to the student. At the same time, Asia Pacific College, the same problem arises in University of Asia in the Pacific, and it's very easy to sell because they have the same challenge. Computer laboratories not being able to be used by the students. So, uh, Asia Pacific College bought 30 licenses on the first year. They renewed it again for the second year this year because this is the product they wanted. And they added another 10 sets. And they even volunteered to make the white paper. If you need the white paper for your education customers, we have that already. If you want to have a testimonial video of the customer signifying that the Verde Remote really works for them, we have that. And I want to ask your support for Visayas area. If you have customers, education customers, whose laboratory is not being used and cannot have instructional for in the cloud because of limitation, please allow me to offer them Verde Remote. I can present. At the same time, we can also do the demo. In Asia Pacific, we closed the deal in less than 3 weeks because they really need the product. And they will not renew it for the second year if it doesn't work. Okay? I do hope you could help me. All of our resources is found online in ncomputing.com. This is the only website that we have. Please log in. If you don't have any email account registered with ncomputing.com, please do so, because logging in will give you the brochures, white papers, the downloads. So you need to have a registration, very easy to do. But please take note, if you need instructional video how to install vSpace, especially sa technical ninyo, although we're in YouTube, but we prefer to put our library of instructional material in vimeo.com/ncomputing. Okay, for other materials, presentation needed for a customer, please contact me directly. This is my contact information. Daghang salamat sa tanan. I do hope you could contact me anytime. My phone is available 7 days a week, including nighttime. If you want to call me anytime, wake me up. If you, as long as it is in for end computing. Okay.
Ayan. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
very
Sir
much.
Oliver. Okay.
Uh,
Your presentation is very informative. So, ang dami kong natutunan about end computing. Miss Roline, anong natutunan mo or favorite mo so far
Yes.
about end computing?
Yung
Oo.
pinaka-favorite ko, sa
Mm,
presentation ni Sir Oliver
mm,
is yung cost efficiency ni and
oo.
computing. So they have various models na
Mm,
mapagpipilian that
mm,
our resellers can offer to their client
mm,
based on or that fits to the size or the budget ng client
oo.
nila or ano lang
Mm,
yung application na ginagamit ng client nila. So
mm.
pwede. So they can choose models from N-Computing. Yung
O
jobs.
oo. Ako naman yung pinaka-favorite ko so far about the presentation is that about the Leaf OS on how can you repurpose the old pieces, okay, of your company tapos magagamit natin siya na mas more productive pa. Ayan, na
Yeah.
hindi lang siya inaalikabok sa stockroom, okay? Ayan, so
Ang galing
that's
talaga.
my favorite about the presentation of Sir Oliver. So, thank you so much Sir Oliver for your
Yes, thank you,
presentation.
sir.
So, ayan, so that ends our presentation for today. For your questions regarding the presentation, you may send it in the chat box. So, Miss Raline, mukhang nahihiya or mahiyain yung mga attendees natin for today.
Yes!
Oo. Oo.
Huwag kayong mahiya. Ay mo wow,
Mm.
partners. Kabaw
Oo.
ni mo isa si Sir Oliver. Kasabot na
Oo.
Sir Oliver. So you can unmute
Yes.
yourselves. Mm.
Oo.
yes, ma'am.
Ayan. Oo. Or by the way, I just want to highlight, John Mark of Davao has sent his contact information. So, si John Mark po pala yung ating contact, official contact from Davao. And Leo Lito or JR is the one handling for Cebu. Yan. So, if you have
Yes.
any questions, kung nahihiya po kayo, for today's presentation, during the presentation, you may reach out to our sales representatives. Okay? Ayan.
Yes.
Ayan. So, that's the end of the presentation. So, I think si Aika has pasted or nilagay na yung link for the feedback form. Ayan. So, as I've mentioned dun sa chat box, yung submitted feedback form will be your ticket for our today's raffle. So, we've
Mm.
now come to the most exciting part of the presentation. So, magkakaroon tayo ng raffle. So, we will be giving away, gaya ni sabi ni Sir Oliver, we will be giving away GCash credits, okay?
Yes.
Ayan. That you can use
Agree.
na kasi uso ngayon yung mga online shopping, 'di ba? Ayan, so hindi na uso yung mga physical cash or
Yes.
item. So
Malapit na
big
11/11, Sir
yes,
John.
so add to cart na lang tayo using our GCash credits. Okay?
Yeah.
Ayan. Okay. So, but before that, let me call on Mr. JR Osorio, our sales representative from Cebu, who's going to discuss about the Burman's promo. Ayan. So, I hope our partners will maximize our current promos yan for end computing. JR, magandang hapon.
Hello, good afternoon. Mayong hapon sa atong tanan. Visayas, Mindanao. Okay, so, okay, again, I am J.R. Osorio, account executive for Cebu. And allow me to discuss our ongoing promotion, the WSI Burman Sale Year 3. So now, with even bigger discounts and more products you can select from. So grow your business with your biggest savings. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, so with WSI Month sale, not only you can get the discounted deals, but you also get 250 GCash credits for every accumulated PO worth of 50,000 pesos VAT X. And we have started last October 1, 2021, and will run until December 31, 2021. So if you haven't joined yet, let me walk you through the order process. Okay, so next slide, please. So how to join? Okay, so first, browse through our product catalog. Visit www.wordtext.com.ph/WBMS, or you may also scan the QR code shown on the screen. Okay. So second, okay, so um, second will be you will be there redirected to the catalog page. You can order here directly by clicking buy now, or type this link in your browser, bit.ly.wbms 2021 order form. And a WSI representative will contact you to validate and confirm the booking. Okay. So number four, you may also order directly from your assigned WSI representative. Okay, so just a reminder to everyone, to our valued partners, we have limited stocks. Okay, so this is first come, first serve, and reservation is not allowed. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, here are some of the products you can buy from WSI Berman sale, and we still have a lot more you can choose from. This Okay, so this year we have a total of 22 participating products ranging from computer and accessories, communication, business, and management. Okay, so next slide, please. So just a few points to remember. Okay, so first, you must be an accredited WSI reseller, and deals given at a special price are excluded from this promotion. Okay, so and receiving GCash account must match the name of the sales representative indicated on the PO. Okay, so the sales representative's name includes be indicated on the PO for the proper recording of the incentives. Okay, so next, resellers can only claim the rewards once the account has been fully paid within the approved credit terms. Okay, and lastly, cancellation or return of orders are not allowed. Okay, so but wait, there's more. Naapalayan. uh, there's an incentive waiting for you on top of our discount and GCash promo. Okay, so we have a special incentive in this November 3 to November 10. So November 9 naman ta karon. So last din na dayo. So napatay sa adlaw. So apas pa tayo mga partners. So okay, so W Cyber Sale, November Spin and Win. Okay, so for every PO receive worth 20 key or 20,000 pesos, BAT X, with a minimum of two items during the period of November 3 to November 10, 2021, under the WBMS promo. The reseller sale representative is entitled to one spin, okay, on the WBMS Wheel of Prices. Okay, so WBMS Wheel of Prices includes exclusive WSI product, merchandises, or all qualifying resellers will be able to participate in live virtual spinning on November 12, 2021 at 4 p.m. via Microsoft Teams. Okay, so I think that's all for the WSI Burns promotion. And don't forget also, don't forget to like, share and follow and subscribe our official WSI pages on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube channel. Wordtext System Incorporated. And happy sailing. Thank you. Back to you guys.
Ayan. So, thank you so much, JR. Ayan.
Sa pa inyong gihuwat, partners. Diba? So,
Oo.
this WSI, you will be informed with our we'll be informed well kung unsay mga products namo, and of course we have our ongoing promotions. But Jobs, before we continue, I see Miss Shella Gabutan raising her hand.
Oo. Ma'am Sheila, do you have any question or concern so far about our presentation or promo? Ma'am Sheila
Yes, Michelle from Microtrade.
from Microtrade. Nahiya ata si ma'am or accidentally napindot niya yung raise ng hand. Ayan. So, as we mentioned earlier, meron tayong short activity na for the top 3 mananalo sila ng GCash credits, okay? Ayan.
Yes,
So, ayun, according to Michelle, napindot lang daw niya.
lang talaga.
Oo, ayan.
Okay. Sige, so wala gid may questions, partners? Oo,
Oh,
so anyway, don't
mm,
forget to fill up the feedback form. I think it's been posted sa ato ang chat box.
mm.
Please do fill it up because it's our ticket to the raffle, right, Jobs?
Yes, correct. Oo.
Yes.
So,
If
before we
Mhm.
raffle, ayan, so titignan natin kung sino yung mga nag-submit ng mga feedback forms.
Yeah.
So, by the way, guys, if you are having a hard time accessing the link na binigay ni Aika kanina, let us know so we can help you guys, okay? Kasi gusto
Yeah.
namin kasama silang lahat sa
Of
raffle.
course, oo.
Okay.
So baka pwede
Kasi
i-flash ulit ni Miss Aika
ah
dito yung yung QR code ng feedback
yes.
form.
Ayan,
Yan, there.
so again, that's the QR code for the feedback form. Okay. I'd like to call on Miss Gigi. Ayan. Ma'am G, RBP for our provincial branches. Ayan. Ma'am G, any
Hello. Hello.
any words for our partners?
Sure. Okay, first of all, congratulations to all the winners. So, my God, nana sila pang 11-11. Di ba?
Yes.
Okay. And then, hello and good afternoon once again to all VisMin partners. So we are very happy that you were able to join us for this afternoon's session. So your presence is highly appreciated. So we hope that today's NComputing session has been a learning session, a learning experience to you, our partners, that will help open up your the possibility of offering another PC technology to the VisMin market. So we in WSI will be more than willing to assist you, to provide you with product knowledge and even do a exclusive training for your team if you are interested to be part of our NComputing family. So please check, let us know. You may check with JR Cebu, our Cebu-based or our Visayas-based resellers. So you may check with JR kung gusto mo ato na session, or kung naata sa Mindanao, pwede sa ninyong i-communicate through ni Marky, si John Mark. That's our new AE for NComputing. And then I'd also like to thank Oliver, no, or the NComputing team for the support all these years, not only to WSI Manila, but also to Cebu and WSI Davao. And then of course to Giovanni for leading the NComputing WSI team, and then WSI Cebu and JR and Marky, and then Ralin, and lastly to our marketing team, to Aika and Nelly for organizing this session. So again, VisMin partners, thank you so much. And then I hope na in a shorter period of time, we will be able to see each other again para magkumustahan ta. Okay? So
Yes.
keep safe everyone and thank you for joining. Bye.
Ayan. Thank you so
Yan.
much, Miss G. Ayan. So, nami-miss ko na rin magbiyahe and hope
Yes,
ma-meet natin din sila
yes.
when this
Hopefully
pandemic
one day.
ends. Ayan. So, again, we hope we have helped you understand and computing solutions more. So, on behalf of all the presenters, I would like to thank you for joining us. Please stay on if you wish to get our experts' contact details and set up one-on-one presentation with them. Ayan. So, here
Yes.
are our contact details. Again, my name is Giovanni Soriano. You can just simply call me Jobs. I am the product specialist for NComputing at WSI. So we have Leolito or JR Osorio from Visayas and John Mark or Marky from Davao. Okay? Thank you so much, Steve, and stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much, everyone. God bless.
God
Thank you, Sir
bless.
Thank you,
Oliver.
partners.
Also.
Thank
Thank you,
you. Bye.
partners.
Ingat.
Bye. See you next time. Bye.